Hello, everyone, and welcome to NetApp and Fujitsu, delivering an optimized hybrid multi-cloud with EVAD Technologies. Today's webinar is sponsored by NetApp and produced by Actual Tech Media. My name is Keith Ward. I am with Actual Tech Media, and I am truly excited to be your moderator for this special event. It's going to be a great discussion today. Before we get started, though, I do need to cover some housekeeping items to help you get the most out of this event. First, we encourage your questions in the questions box in your webinar control panel. Keep them coming too, because at the end, we're going to do some live Q&A. That's going to be a lot of fun. Now, that Q&A panel is also the place to let us know about any technical issues you might be experiencing. A browser refresh is the first thing you're going to want to do if you have problems with your audio, video, anything else. If that doesn't work, let us know in the Q&A and we will provide further technical assistance. Second, take a look at the handout section. Now, that's right there next to the questions tab, and there you will find some awesome resources today, including 3 free PDFs from NetApp. They include an ASA data sheet, a white paper on digital transformation, and an overview of all-flash SAN storage for the hybrid cloud. Wow, that is a fantastic lineup of goodies. Download them now. I strongly encourage you. There you will also find links to the Gorilla Guide Book Club, where you can get access to our vast library of books on technology topics. And you will find a link to the Actual Tech Media Event Center, which has our calendar of upcoming events. Next, at the end of this webinar, we will be awarding a $250 Amazon gift card to one lucky registrant. Now, you do have to be in attendance during the live event to qualify for the prize. The official terms and conditions of the prize drawing can also be found in the handout section. So now that we've gotten rid of the dry, boring stuff, let's move on to the good stuff. All right. To encourage those questions, as I mentioned, the live Q&A at the end, we've got another prize for you, and that is a $50 Amazon gift card. So what we're going to do is at the end here, when the event is over, we're going to gather up all the questions, pick the best one out, and then that person will get a $50 Amazon gift card. So keep those coming throughout. And with that, let's get to the main event. What do you say, huh? It is my pleasure to introduce you to our panel today. We have got Jason Katsaftis. We have got Craig Parker and Padraig Griffin. They are locked, loaded, and ready to go. So we're going to dive right in. Jason, you have the mic. Take it.
Thanks, Keith. So again, my name is Jason Katsaftis. I manage the worldwide partnership with VMware for NetApp. Really happy to be here today, and very thankful for Craig and Padraig taking the time to come together. You know, getting together as partners is one of the greatest things that we do here at NetApp. And when partners come together to build solutions, and we actually have customers on like Padraig to talk about it, it's a great opportunity. So for those of you who weren't at VMware Explore Barcelona, Fujitsu and NetApp and VMware made a large announcement of a new joint solution. And we have a great customer on, Padraig, to talk about from EVAD Technologies, how the solution's been applied. So take advantage of today. Please make the session interactive, and we look forward to the live Q&A at the end. So let's get started. Every organization we talk today, including ourselves here at NetApp, you run your business on applications. You have enterprise databases, applications, like Oracle, Microsoft, SAP, or homegrown apps running your business every day. And, most applications in the data center today actually run on virtual machines and run on VMware. VMware is essentially, for most organizations, one of the standards that helps virtualize and pool compute resources underlying applications. And to get the most value out of that investment in VMware, having the right compute and storage architecture is very, very important. And this is really the foundation of the partnership that's had between NetApp and VMware for about the last 20 years. We have over 20,000 joint customers, many in common with our partner Fujitsu across the world, that are running their virtualized applications on enterprise storage with NetApp and compute architecture from Fujitsu. Now, if we look at most data centers today, VMware has evolved for the last 20 years, and applications and infrastructure have evolved along with it. And on the left-hand side, you can see what most organizations today is. They have an IT organization on premises in a data center, most of their applications virtualized on vSphere, and you might be running a traditional combination of some of your what you call traditional applications that run your business every day, and then new applications that you're building to drive innovation. Now, for most organizations, they want to continue to get the most investment out of their VMware software that they've already licensed. And as they run traditional apps or build new apps, continue to get the most ROI out of those investments. Now, the other theme that's emerged strongly over the last several years, but it's changed slightly, is the moving of these workloads into the cloud. So organizations today are starting to think more and more about how do I move my applications into a cloud environment to get better economics. But the world has kind of shifted from this cloud first approach to more of a cloud smart approach, which is being selective about which applications you move to which cloud and when for the strongest return on investment. And that might be migrating them, extending part of an app, or developing new applications in the cloud as well. Now, with all of these to get today, one of the things that stands out is you have the ability to use enterprise storage in the cloud with NetApp. And this is a new announcement we made about a year ago at the VMware Explore events. By being able to add NetApp to VMware Cloud, you can reduce the cost of your cloud architecture by about 25 to 50%. This was a major announcement we made at VMware Explore US in Barcelona a year ago. And now we've taken the next step, which is a great hybrid cloud strategy always starts in the data center. And this is where we're going to hand over to our partner, Craig, in a bit to talk about this at Fujitsu. But really, when you're building a hybrid cloud architecture, you want to start from the data center out. And today, when it comes to storage, flash is really becoming the standard inside the data center. You know, storage has evolved over the last 20 years alongside VMware, from spinning disk to hybrid storage, and now flash. And it's not just one type of flash. There's different types of flash storage for different purposes: performance, capacity, a blend of the two, optimized for block workloads, etc. NetApp's built a full portfolio of storage and flash technologies to handle all of these different use cases. But ideally, what you want to start to look at is having the right architecture for VMware on premises to set you up to get the most economics out of your licenses in the data center, and then set you up to be able to move into the cloud if and when you're ready. So to help build a strong and cost-effective and efficient hybrid cloud architecture, the three partners, VMware, NetApp, and Fujitsu, got together about a year ago, and we built this architecture and launched it at VMware Explore Barcelona. So I want to turn it over to Craig now to talk a little bit more about that, as well as Padraig to share his experience having used the technologies. Craig, over to you.
Thank you, Jason. Yeah, really excited to be here. I mean, I think that we've got a really beautiful alignment of visions, of strategy, and alignment of technologies. And I think the three partnerships, or the three companies in the partnership, absolutely, I think, are working incredibly well. We do share that vision around workload. You know, workloads are so important, and how you support them, whether they're, you know, right to stay on-prem and stay within the data center, or, you know, maybe are better off in a public cloud environment. So taking a workload approach, which is the vision and strategy of the free organization, building an architecture under that, for me is a beautiful, beautiful alignment of the partnership. But for me, you know, more importantly is that it works for our customers. So we're just about to run a little video, and that video is from EVAD Technology, one of our customers and partners in Ireland. And Padraig, that's in the video, you're going to hear from very shortly. So let's run the video.
Over the last 12 months in ICT, things that have come to the forefront as challenges are governance, risk and compliance, operational resilience, operational efficiency, and operational innovation. I think globally when we look at it, C-level executives are taking more of an operational efficiency and operational excellence approach to their organisations, particularly around ICT and cloud. We know that 79% of businesses have said that they have actually spent or wasted money in cloud technologies, and 60% of businesses have over-procured cloud by 2 to 3 times their original budgets. What we're seeing is companies re-evaluating their cloud strategy and their total cost of ownership of their entire business operations. We see companies shifting away from public clouds to get better efficiencies in relation to operational excellence and operational cost. What we're seeing across the industry is that companies are able to reduce their total cost of ownership across their entire ICT environment. They're able to reduce their operational risk and improve their operational security. From our experience, we believe that the right on-premise infrastructure solution coupled with the right clouds for the right workloads delivers the best in what an ICT environment can deliver in terms of operational excellence for an organisation. When we think about data sovereignty, we need to consider governance, risk compliance, frameworks and legislation that governs how the data is managed, captured and stored from different regions globally. For our point of view, working with top-tier vendors that enable us to control the flow of data between on-premise, private cloud and different public cloud workflows gives us and our clients control to ensure data sovereignty. When we're considering building out ICT environments for our clients across the globe, we use Fujitsu, VMware and NetApp. Only Fujitsu, VMware and NetApp have the long-standing history and relationship that delivers value, resilience, the best-in-breed technology and most importantly, consistency to our clients. For us, the benefits of partnering with Fujitsu, VMware and NetApp is peace of mind, not only for us but for our clients. When you have 3 companies who have worked together for so long and deliver complex ICT solutions globally, at scale and at ease. For IT managers, IT directors that we deal with, the only choice for them is VMware, NetApp and Fujitsu. The key takeaway in order for organisations to gain a competitive edge is to understand that they do not need to follow the current trends in the marketplace. That they can deploy critical workloads on-premise, in a private data centre, in a public cloud, in a multi-cloud, or a combination of all 4, to give them the benefits of how they manage their business, reducing their cost of ownership and delivering on operational excellence.
Fantastic. I mean, hopefully you can see from that video, we really saw, how Podrick and EVAD are really working on getting the right advice to their customers around the workload. There's some big topics in there in terms of data sovereignty and application performance, application modernization. But I mean, there's even more here, so Podrick, maybe, you can talk through a few of these other challenges. I mean, are you seeing it in this way? Is it becoming more complex? Is the cloud becoming more complex, and how you're advising the customers around that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Again, greetings from Dublin, Ireland, everybody. I hope you're enjoying today. Absolutely. I think the challenges around cloud and the cloud first strategy has basically put organizations in a position whereby they've probably gone into cloud first strategy without realizing all of the potential pitfalls that have emerged over the last number of years. Governance, risk, compliance is a really, really key piece globally now. Vulnerability management, threats, and so on. Data sovereignty is absolutely huge. And I think we'll go through it later on, but there's no defined cost for specifically public clouds, and it's causing an awful lot of operational cost and operational efficiency conversations. We know data security and data protection is big, but one of the big things for us is the management complexity of actually having and trying to manage multiple clouds. And we've spoke about this in depth, Craig, at Barcelona earlier this year. It might seem like a cloud first strategy is the right way to go, but when you're trying to manage multiple clouds and you have no platform to do so, it really is where I suppose our experience with NetApp and yourselves and Fujitsu has come to play.
Yeah, thank you. And Jason, if we go to the next slide, the way I think what people are trying to achieve out there, cloud is also different as well. And again, I think, we're seeing customers changing in terms of what they're trying to achieve. About 4 or 5 years ago, would you say customers were going to the cloud to seek out innovation and application, development, but then obviously COVID and other global economic challenges have hit, and there's been this sort of resilience focus while people were protecting their businesses. And but then now you've just mentioned it, maybe that cloud first approach maybe causing a bit of cost, and so efficiency's coming back. Is that how you're seeing it, Patrick?
No, absolutely, and I think one of the big things for us, as you say, is that an awful lot of organizations move to a cloud strategy, or kind of, let's say, dip the toe in cloud around certain SaaS applications that provided an awful lot of innovation, took an awful lot of complexity. Obviously, one of the biggest ones is Office 365, moving Exchange and that headache away. And businesses or organizations have always tried to kind of seek out, I suppose, extra innovation. And test and dev environments and all of that type of stuff in public clouds has worked really well. I think what business realized during the pandemic is they were forced to basically follow a cloud first approach.
Yeah.
And in hindsight, what's actually happened is it hasn't been as efficient as they were led to believe. We don't have fixed costs in public cloud. It's very, very hard for chief financial officers and head of finance to manage and budget where that efficiency is going to come from. From a resilience point of view, again, you're looking at multiple clouds, trying to manage resilience across multiple clouds, on-premise, the workforce. So I think these are three really key topics that the promises, let's say, of a cloud-first strategy would deliver. But in hindsight, it hasn't been as effective in relation to the innovation, resiliency, and efficiency of clouds. And again, as we say, one of the reasons why ourselves, when we looked at this, we've an awful lot of companies who are realizing that they're not getting the innovation they thought, they don't have the resilient systems, and the efficiency is not where it needs to be. And I'm sure we discuss as we go through the next couple of slides that cloud first model, has actually been superseded by a workload first model. And that's something that is a new driver. It's a change in relation to how organizations look at where they position their data and how they manage their data.
Yeah. No, it's too true. And Keith, if we can go to the next slide. Innovation and resilience, you can invest in those, and they may come with maybe a premium, and that's fine if you're in a growth phase, or you don't have many other options as you did in COVID time. So spending on resilience is fine. But I didn't expect some of these costs to come back and some of these stats to come back so strongly. I mean, these are from IDC, very, very recent, February, but I was also with the IDC team. They're still seeing this. 79% of organizations, according to IDC, feel a proportion of their cloud spend was wasted. I expected high cost, but waste? I mean, Padraig, you seeing this? Are customers saying this to you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So probably not as surprised as yourself, but still the costs were higher, or the percentages were quite high compared to what we would have imagined was going to come out in the IDC report. And as we've just alluded to in the video where I covered off a couple of, I suppose, these key points, it is staggering. Nearly 80% the cloud being wasted. It's just coming down to, like, again, there's no efficiencies there. There's no, it's the object of the exercise in relation to cloud was, provision only what you need and that type of thing. But that amount of waste is shocking. And as a result, what we've seen is, and again, we use the word repatriation, where we see people looking to say, if I'm wasting 79% of my cloud resources, I'm wasting, expense. And obviously we can see the next one is 60% are spending 2 to 3 times more. So probably jumping the gun a little bit on the next piece. But what we're seeing is an awful lot of companies fully reevaluating where their workloads sit. So it's not about, the cloud first approach hasn't worked. It got us through a pandemic. But when you look at how to optimize your operational efficiency, and we spoke about in Barcelona, Craig, operational excellence, which is operational security, operational efficiency, and that operation, effectiveness for the organization. So we see an awful lot of organizations come to have the conversation with us where we look to optimize the cloud, and more times out of not, it looks at an approach to moving back to or repatriation to an on-premise hybrid cloud infrastructure, which is again what we've designed and built with NetApp Fujitsu and VMware.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I enjoyed that conversation. It was over beers, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Spanish wine, Spanish rioja.
That's it.
That's definitely the best way to talk about these things. Keith, if we could, sorry, Jason, if we could go on to the next slide, please. So yeah, this is definitely one of the big things that we've been talking about. You know, there's a range of workloads that you can see here, and some of them tend to lean towards staying on premise in a traditional data center. Some absolutely can be deployed on the public cloud and definitely are probably best, you know. So this is how we tend to advise our customers, and I think that's been part of the conversations we've had over the last 4 or 5 years. But again, Patrick, this is how I think you're advising your customers as well.
No, absolutely. I think it's a case of when we take the last slide into this side, when you're looking at, CEOs on the last piece of 50% are concerned with costs. When you have 79% wastage and 2 to 3 times the cost, this evaluation piece in relation to where best to place your workload makes an awful lot of sense, because not only can you get better innovation, better scalability, flexibility when needed, you're actually optimizing the operational efficiency of the organization whilst reducing costs. And you're absolutely right. Well, certain SaaS applications make absolute sense in the public cloud. There is a growing understanding from, referenceability and case studies and ourselves obviously being one, that businesses and organizations can get better efficiency, better operational excellence and security in a hybrid cloud approach, and by managing the workloads, much more, in a much more controlled fashion than basically taking that consumption piece. And one of the things I think that works really well is obviously the NetApp ONTAP, where you can actually control your data across hybrid clouds and public cloud. So you're basically having control of your data in what is the most advantageous medium for you to deploy it in. And that's really, really key. And that's something that's really helped us and our clients. And I think one of the things that we spoke about this, in Barcelona this year, is that when you look at your organization being fully embedded with a public cloud provider, what's happening is you're not controlling the narrative, because it's being dictated to you based on their technology roadmap. Yes. And an awful lot of people will have a single public cloud provider and try and consume everything. The beauty of the partnership and the history that you have with Fujitsu, 25 years, VMware and NetApp 20 years, is we're getting 3 tier 1 industry leading vendors that specialize at the highest level in their key objectives in ICT, and we're able to leverage that relationship, bring you 3 guys together to be able to optimize what, this slide can be quite chaotic if somebody who doesn't understand what they're looking at. So it's definitely a conversation piece that we get involved in quite a lot.
Thank you. Yeah, Jason, if we can go to the next slide. I think this one actually encapsulates the message that you're just talking about there. There's also been a bit of a rebalance and a shift back in terms of where people are seeking advice and support from, and the tools that they're using. I think, for me, the tools, once you've decided where to place your workload, how you control that, I think, is critically important. And I think we're seeing a shift back to some of the traditional tools provided by the traditional infrastructure providers as being the place that are helping people absolutely optimize that workload run or management. Yeah, I think you just said it, but yeah, would you agree?
No, absolutely. And I think the primary data infrastructure provider, 42% over the public cloud provider, basically being, I suppose, more strategic. And I think strategic is a key word for an awful lot of optimization and innovation in business. And it's definitely something that we've seen. Again, I go back to, I suppose, that if you're dealing with a public cloud vendor, you've got a very narrow narrative where they're controlling what happens with your solutions or systems based on their technology roadmap. When you have, a cloud first workload where you're working off multiple clouds, you're dealing with an awful lot of different narratives, and you're not really controlling, your key business kind of focus or objectives. And again, I know I alluded to a second ago, but when you actually have control of your data via NetApp ONTAP and your infrastructure with Fujitsu and VMware, it just gives you an awful lot more control, and it actually gives you an awful lot more flexibility. And by leveraging the partnership that you have, it gives an awful lot more innovation, because as all software technologies and all technology companies evolve, there comes with it an awful lot more, I suppose, innovation from companies. So what I would argue is, why get innovation from one public cloud solutions company when you can get innovation from three that complement each other in such a positive way and have done for so long?
And thank you. Very humbled by that. But I also love this. I love the story that you told me or told before, where you had one of your customers who went to the public cloud, and then he was there for a month or two, and then he was like, oh, I've got to make all these decisions myself, and where do I get that advice? And the workshops that he used to have with us all, it was like, well, can I have those? And it's like, well, you sort of made a choice, mate, wasn't it? So, I think there's a huge amount of value in these partnerships that isn't even put on slides or tangible, visible in the innovation and the solutions that we build. But
I think just if I may just on that one, Craig, because I think that's a very relevant piece to bring up. As I say, without getting back into the public cloud and I suppose the narrative piece, one of the big things is when you look at the global landscape. So we like cybersecurity. We talk about GRCC, so governance, risk, compliance, and cybersecurity, and we're talking about infrastructure and virtualization layer and then data layer. There's an awful lot of different kind of components that lead into this. So when you're looking at the likes of a public cloud where you're trying to treat them all as one, there's an awful lot of, I suppose, concerns that would be raised across our GRC teams. But when we're able to bring Fujitsu in from the infrastructure point of view and the private cloud point of view with us, we have VMware at that hypervisor layer and that transition between the cloud. And then we've got the likes of, again, the NetApp ONTAP and Blue XP, being able to manage that data and that access to that data across different kind of different workloads, but different clouds. Again, it just really drives home that piece that there's an awful lot more, intellectual capability that comes into that conversation. And, as Einstein said, if you can explain it well enough, or if you understand it well enough, you can explain it simply. And that's the value of having, really, really key partners.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Jason, if we can go to the next one, please. Yeah, and so I think, there's a nice link between the last one and this one, and it's about, that data center out strategy. I think it's really come back to the fore. I think we were just touching on that on the last couple of points, but again, I think IDC puts this beautifully. Without a data center out management approach, organizations could remain stuck with unsuccessful cloud projects. And that is a biggie for me. We've just spent a couple of moments talking about the different tools that we have, but I think it's the mindset. I think the mindset is really important. Our customers that we talk to really, do value that data center out control perspective. And again, I'm just going to throw it back to yourself, Patrick. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. As I say, we build and operate a Fujitsu private cloud for Europe based out of Dublin, Ireland. It's Fujitsu infrastructure, VMware, and NetApp, and it gives us the full hybrid and multi-cloud kind of, I suppose, connectivity approach, but it's fully data center out management. Just on some of the stats on below, security and trust, again, it comes down to, rather than being siloed in one specific vendor, to be able to have that security and trust conversation around different layers of the infrastructure is very important. Yeah. The other thing, again, for us is that the support that we get from VMware, Fujitsu, and NetApp is unparalleled. And it enables us to empower our clients as well. So we know there's a global shortage of ICT resources, cybersecurity resources, and so on. So being able to leverage them relationships, really, really adds an awful lot of, as I say, value, which I think is a very, very key word. Again, performance and reliability issues, 21% concern. I can tell you I don't have 21% concern in relation to air performance and reliability. Based on the conversations that we've had, the design, the architecture, we've had zero threats, zero issues, and absolutely, I think it's like 99 point something percent customer satisfaction on the platform. And obviously, we adhere to and look after an awful lot of the digital sovereignty concerns as well. So, definitely data center out management approach works for us. It works for our clients. We're actually upgrading and basically building out our private cloud for the fourth time in 3 years, which is basically grown, essentially 380% or thereabouts it is from what it originally is. And we wouldn't have been able to do it without the assistance and I suppose the partnership with Fujitsu, VMware, and NetApp. So I'm not surprised at the stats, but I can say that based on what we've built and where we are, that we're seeing it, but we're not seeing it with our customers.
Fantastic. That's great to hear. That really is great to hear. Jason, if we could just go to the last. So what we're going to do now is just going to talk about on the next couple of slides a few of the things that we're doing about helping customers develop a good workload strategy. So we're just going to talk about, as Padraig said, the development of the partnership is 25 years that Fujitsu and NetApp have been working together. This is not a marketing slideware partnership. It is a true deep innovation engineering partnership. And the partnership with VMware is at 20 years. We're also I think we were the first OEM of VMware globally. So the partnership on that side has also been as deep as the NetApp partnership. But, from our perspective, there's a lot of value that we're looking at developing through this partnership. So let's take you through a couple of the highlights. Jason, if we can go to the next slide. So we're not just looking at dropping storage on-prem. We're looking at, a range of ways that we engage with customers. There's 4 or 5 different ways that we can help customers on their cloud journey or build private clouds on premises as well. These include a range of the technologies that we've been talking about, from traditional ONTAP to cloud volumes ONTAP to storage grids to Blue XP. There's a whole range of technologies that we're integrating and innovating together. But it's not also just that, Jason. If we can move to the next slide. We are doing that with VMware as well. And if you look at it, this logically makes a lot of sense. You've got VMware with vCenter, vSphere for the workload management. You've obviously got NetApp ONTAP or cloud volumes for the data management. But in the middle, gluing it together, we have Fujitsu ISM, which helps us control the servers that VMware sits upon, but also connects to the NetApp storage systems. And the ISM technology also helps manage the networking piece. So you get full visibility of that environment. And that is where we're helping to really deliver. When you add on vSphere 8, that connection to the cloud, and you've got that on-prem data center out management perspective. Jason, if we can go to the next slide, please. But also what we're doing is we're not just investing in the integration of the technologies. We talked about complexity. How do a customer work out where to reside their workloads? We've developed a hybrid cloud assessment service to do exactly that. So with NetApp through Blue XP, you can use Cloud Insight Manager to get that understanding of how an application is going to perform where you're going to reside at, take in those sort of data governance risk considerations, and therefore make a recommendation around a workload. And if a workload is best suited for the public cloud and you can run that there most efficiently, then again, that's, that's absolutely would be the advice that we would give our customers. We appreciate that, the public cloud or a focused, cloud provider, they could well be the right place to reside a workload, but there also could be situations where an on-prem solution managed out from a data center, that's maybe the best advice. So Jason, if we can just move to the next slide, please. So again, and a slightly different visual, but again, hopefully it just re-emphasizes the point how the partnership of Fujitsu, NetApp, VMware are really coming together, and how you've got that complete stack that you can build that private cloud upon and then connect out to the cloud. But also with that comes years and years of support. We know how to work across the partnerships. We've got over 1,500 customers across Europe that we've been running these styles of technology, all of the different versions across all of the different years, and we've done all the certifications and all of the integrations. But support, that's such an important word to ensure that these technologies run efficiently together and customers achieving what they want to with them. Jason, if we could just go to the next slide, please. This is another little view of it. This was the first phase of the partnership. We've got so many plans to continue the innovation, but it gives you a little more detail. And again, we've been doing this for so many years that we've t-shirt sized these technologies. 86 VMs is a starting point for one style of bundle, more of an economic one, or 110 VMs for more of a performant one, but you can pick and choose, and there's options in there around the networking. You can bring your own networking device if the Juniper switches that we've added in there not your choice. We can work with other networking technologies, but the core of the stack would remain the same here. And this is how, as I say, we've got them pre-built within our system. We have a factory system called Web Architect. You can just go on, click, and we will validate configuration for you so that when it arrives, it runs and is ready to run and is perfectly operational. But as I say, that's just the next phase, Jason. If we go on to the next one of the big things that we're really excited about is, let's face it, compute is getting so powerful that actually compute can do a lot of things, and it's the storage and the data it's creating that it's expanding. So where we're going to be going next is external storage expansion systems. So therefore you can do lots with your same CPUs, and you don't have to keep on expanding it in a sort of hyper-converged style as you expand the storage. So we're gonna do that. We've got another couple of projects as well in the AI space that we're working on together, where we've got architectures that are proven. We've already got them in our demo suites, built upon NetApp Technologies, where we can do AI test drives for many different scenarios. So we're going to continue to build out all of these technologies. So strong roadmap, strong partnership today, loads of plans for the future. Jason, if we can just go to the final slide. So look, I'll just sum up a couple of things before I hand back to Jason. As you can see, customers' priorities are changing. They constantly do, and let's face it, everyone has to, as we continue to face a very, very changing environment out there. So we have seen people go for, a rebalancing act, balancing back from innovation and resilience to maybe a little more efficiency. Without a doubt, people are using a hybrid cloud approach because public cloud has been great, and again, it really helped during those COVID times to ensure resilience. But it doesn't solve all of the problems. And maybe now we're seeing that maybe there may be a slightly better way of rebalancing it around. And hybrid cloud definitely is helping our customers with that. You've heard from Padraig how he's seeing it, one of our customers, and from the customers that he's helping serve. So, across the partnership from Fujitsu, NetApp and VMware, we feel that we're in a really great place to help you find the right cloud for the right workloads and help support you. Jason, I'm going to hand back to you.
Yeah, thanks, Craig. Thanks, Padraig. I think the way you summed it up there in terms of building from a data center out, having a complete stack, having partners that have come together to build the stack and have it be proven, supported, and integrated is really what this was about today. And we want to now take some time for Q&A. And again, you've not only got NetApp and Fujitsu on, you've also got Padraig, who's had a lot of experience running and deploying this for many customers. So please take the opportunity to offer up any questions, and we'll now go to the Q&A portion. Thanks again for taking the time today, and thanks again, Craig and Padraig, for presenting.
Okay. Wow, what a great presentation. Loved all the knowledge and information that was imparted during that. So much good stuff coming from NetApp and Fujitsu. So Jason, you are here, and are you ready to go and take some questions from the attendees?
Yes, here and ready to go. Yep, let's do it.
All right. Outstanding. We got some great ones coming in, so let's dive in. First one, what are some best practices for moving VMware workloads to hybrid clouds?
Sure. Yeah, great question. So, most workload, when you say VMware workloads, what we're talking about is workloads in your data center that are already running on a virtual server running vSphere. So, in our conversations with customers, and we touched on this in the presentation today a little bit, when you start to think about moving those workloads into a cloud environment, call it AWS, Azure, or Google, you're going to want to think about what that architecture is going to look like inside the cloud environment. Now, VMware, of course, as we've all discussed, they've built VMware Cloud Managed Services at AWS, Azure, and Google. And NetApp has built managed cloud storage services at AWS, Azure, and Google. So one of the fundamental questions we always get is, if I'm migrating, extending, or protecting workloads into the cloud, what is my new cost model going to look like? Because I'm moving from an environment I already have with a certain amount of compute and storage that you likely have a good feel for what that architecture looks like and what you spend on that architecture. So if I'm going to move these workloads into the cloud, one of the common questions we get is just quite simply, how do I know what this is going to truly cost me today and moving forward? So one of the things we always encourage people to do is to look at the profile of all of the virtual machines that you plan to move to AWS, Azure, or Google, and make sure you do a sizing exercise of those virtual machines. Now, this is where the integration between NetApp and VMware has come into play, and this is really the basis behind everything we integrated and developed. We've developed integrated TCO sizing tools that are publicly available that let you take your VMs, like with an RV tools file or a live optics output as an example, and very quickly, within a day, look at all of your VMs and decide which of those VMs should move on which type of VMware Cloud compute and storage tier. In the past, you only had one or two choices. You had to buy VMware Cloud, buy the compute node, which included hyper-converged infrastructure that came with it. What you can do now is you can attach just storage to the VMware Cloud solution, just like you most likely do on premises today, and more precisely align your compute and storage to the workload needs. So we could, for example, look at, if you're moving up 500 VMs, you might have 200 of them that are very heavy on storage and light on compute, and 300 that are more balanced in memory and compute. And what we found is when you mix the right storage and compute together with NetApp and VMware, the total cost of the VMware cloud solution can go down by upwards of 25 to 50% compared to what you've probably seen in the past. So to wrap up this answer, one of the things we've consistently heard when we've talked to customers about VMware Cloud is they want to better understand the cost. And what I would encourage people to do is, if you've looked at VMware Cloud in the past, you should take a new look at it, because VMware's made some significant new announcements that allow you to decouple compute and storage in new, more cost-effective ways that looks a lot like what you have on premises. And because you're using NetApp in the cloud, you're also still going to get all the enterprise storage capabilities that you're probably used to, things like compression, dedupe, snapshots, et cetera. So we can talk to you more about that, but that's just the high level of what we've done together.
Yeah, those 25 to 50% savings are, man, those are music to the ears of the attendees, I think. Great stuff. So let's move to the next question then, Jason. How disruptive is it, or can it be, to implement something like this in an existing environment? Is it rip and replace? I mean, how is that going to work?
So if we're talking about the solution between VMware, Fujitsu, and NetApp today, most organizations today and people that are on this webinar probably already have vSphere, right? Most people run their workloads somewhere on VMware virtual machines managed by vSphere. So what Fujitsu has done is leverage the latest Primergy servers and infrastructure management software that Craig discussed, combined with the latest all-flash technologies of NetApp, so that you can deploy a very modern, high performance and cost effective and efficient hybrid cloud architecture. Now, if you're not running Fujitsu and NetApp today, the ability to move your workloads over is not very complicated at all. There's a variety of technologies to do that, and do a migration. There's also capabilities within VMware to move the virtual machines non-disruptively. And of course, Fujitsu itself, being the partner bringing all this together, can help the customer design and execute that move either directly or with any of the Fujitsu value add partners that are out there that you as a customer may already work with. So that's the on-premises piece of this. And again, if you're moving anything into the cloud, the whole value prop of VMware Cloud is you're staying on VMware. So you're doing VM to VM motion and migrations, not converting your VMs necessarily to cloud native at first, if you don't want to. And there's a variety of technologies to move the storage as well. Once you're on NetApp, moving the data in and out of the cloud is very fast and very easy, because we have a technology called SnapMirror, which can move the data while VMware moves the VMs. So once you get this Fujitsu hybrid cloud, this is what Craig meant when he said, a good hybrid cloud strategy starts in the data center. So when you get a solid VMware Fujitsu NetApp architecture in your data center, and all the benefits that brings, it sets you up nicely if and when you want to move a workload to the cloud to use the fastest and easiest data replication and migration tools from VMware and NetApp to do that.
Okay.
Great question.
Great. Yeah, absolutely. So related to that, someone wants to know how big a learning curve is involved in making the switch to this hybrid cloud environment. So I guess one way to ask that is, especially for the on-premises component here, do you need a lot of consultants, a lot of specialists to really get this off the ground and running?
No. Well, so first of all, no. You likely already have VMware administrators, right, that know how to run vSphere, and that stays the same. And they're used to managing compute and storage. And so, running VMware on Fujitsu and NetApp has been done for over 20 years now. There's 20,000 customers at NetApp that run vSphere on NetApp, and we have decades of best practices that we continue to update and enhance. And of course, Fujitsu and NetApp have been partnering even longer than that. So this is not a complex environment to run at all. In fact, it's very, very proven and Many organizations use it, thousands do today. The one thing I'll mention is that beyond the infrastructure, we've spent a lot of integration with VMware to expose the NetApp ONTAP and all flash capabilities natively into vSphere. So if you want, you have to look at each of your data center environments differently. You might have, database admins, applications teams, VMware admins, infrastructure teams, storage teams. We see some organizations, however, want to put more visibility and control into the hands of the VMware administrators to make it easier to operate things on a day-to-day basis natively through vSphere when it comes to data management, and reduce the amount of work that they need to do going back and forth with the storage team. So, for example, monitoring the storage, provisioning storage, accessing storage replication, copies, clones, and things of that nature. There is this whole suite of APIs we have called ONTAP tools for VMware, which expose the storage features into vSphere if you want. And what we've seen is that makes both the VMware teams and the storage teams a lot more efficient. And they can spend less time doing a lot of those daily management tasks and free them up to do other things, taking advantage of more advanced features in VMware, for example. Yep. So I would look at that question both from the infrastructure side itself, and then also who's actually managing and operating the VMware environment. And we have nice integration there as part of this solution with Fujitsu.
For sure. Okay. Got time for, I think, a couple of more questions here, Jason. When people come to NetApp and they're looking for a solution like this, for a hybrid cloud solution, what are some of the common misconceptions you find that customers come into this situation with?
I think one of the misconceptions is that, it's going to be hard to change. They might be running different servers, they might be running different storage. And, I think helping understand how to actually execute the move is one part of it. I think the other, I wouldn't call it a misconception, but I think a question we get is, what's the value? What am I going to get better than I have today? So, with this solution that we've developed together with the three companies, I will say that first of all, there's very enhanced pricing that we've offered into this solution for customers. And, you need to talk through Fujitsu for that information. And then also you're running the latest and best technologies from all three companies. You're getting the latest version of vSphere itself, which includes new features that take advantage of flash storage in new ways. And those new features were co-designed with NetApp. So you're going to get more value and ROI out of your flash investments when running the stack with the latest version of vSphere on the latest version of NetApp. And then, of course, the Fujitsu Primergy servers and infrastructure management, tying it all together. And then third, all of it being delivered and supported through Fujitsu and Fujitsu partners. So we've designed this by working with Fujitsu to be very simple and easy and affordable to do. And then also taking advantage of the latest technologies from all three companies within it, which helps future-proof you right out of the gate with the infrastructure you're getting. And then also remember, it's already cloud ready. So if you want to move to the cloud, you're also going to be set up to do that if and when you want to do that.
And it's all of that alignment means, again, going back to an earlier question, minimizing the learning curve, getting set up quickly, much quicker than it used to be, a decade or two ago to make any kind of a change. So that is just great to hear. I want to remind everyone before we cut you loose today, Jason, that we do have 3 handouts from NetApp that they should be downloading and going there right now if they haven't downloaded already, to make sure they can see all of that goodness from NetApp, all those PDFs that are free. So in the little bit of time we have left, I strongly encourage everyone to do that. So final question for you today, Jason. This is the big one, I think, the most important one of all. Have you finished your Christmas shopping yet?
So I have young kids, and it's actually we've learned to get an early start on this to avoid shipping charges. So yeah, I'm happy to say we're all wrapped up and ready to go 3 weeks out. So Yep.
No last minute fighting other parents in Walmart or Target or something, right?
No, look, our only challenge is hiding the presents from them. That's the challenge. So we've got them hidden all over the house. Yeah.
Well, Jason, thanks so much for being on for this Q&A and for the presentation today, for enlightening us and giving us some really valuable insights into how to move to this environment, which will make your data center more efficient, make all your operations go more smoothly. That kind of seamless integration is just so crucial to a smooth transition. And I want to thank you for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks everybody for attending, and we really appreciate it and look forward to talking with you soon. Thanks.
Absolutely. Now, I did want to mention before we move into the next portion, which is the Amazon gift card, there's a lot of questions that we were not able to get to today, just running out of time because of the great presentation that the companies NetApp and Fujitsu will get back to you to answer any questions that were not asked or that were not answered during the event today. So don't worry about that. You will be hearing from them on any questions that were asked but not able to be answered during the live event. So with that, folks, we have one more piece of business to take care of, and that is the Amazon gift card prize drawing. As I mentioned up top, you have to be present for the entire event to be eligible to win the gift card. And the $250 prize for this event goes to Barry Collins from Illinois. Congratulations to you, Barry. Sit tight. We'll be in touch to get you your card. And with that, on behalf of the Actual Tech Media team, I want to thank all of our attendees for being here. I want to thank NetApp and Fujitsu and all of the presenters for just such an awesome session today. It was a delight being on with you. And that pretty much wraps us for today's event, folks. I look forward to seeing you in the next one and want you all to have a great rest of your day.